Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first Q&A of the day. We've just watched together Pleasure on a Chair, Il mio corpo, ancora mio, by Sara Sguotti, and you can join the conversation. It's very, very easy. So you see that at the bottom of the screen, you have a raise hand button. It looks like a little hand. You can click on it and join us live, ask your questions, or if you're camera shy, you can also use the Q&A box and send us your questions and I will read them out loud. But I will start first with some of my questions. My name is Greta and I'm part of the B.Motion team here in Bassano. And as you can see, we have a special guest here with me. Hello, hello. Can you please tell us your name?
Yeah, hello everybody, I'm Sara Sguotti. I'm speaking from Bassano, the Grappa, and I'm the creator of the piece you just saw in the video in the screen, Pleasure on a Chair.
Well, thanks for joining us, Sara, because I know that you were there with the dancers who just performed, so we literally dragged you to the Q&A space. Before leaving to our audience that I see are already sending us some questions, I have a question for you. In these days, we talked about collaboration a lot during the morning sessions here on Zoom. So I would like to know from you, how did you build the collaboration with the dancehall group? Because you know they are not professionally trained dancers, but they have a lot of experience with working with choreographers, and they are from a different generation as well. So how did you manage all these aspects?
They are not professional dancers, but they behave like professionals. So normally when I work with people, I don't work with their capacity of being on stage or their capacity to be on, you know, the working room, but I just work with the bodies, and they gave me a lot of possibility to explore their possibility and give me also a huge possibility of vocabulary that I used for creating this piece. So it was really simple, the building of the collaboration with them.
Great. And I also have a question on the title of the piece, because again, I'm wondering if dealing with this different generation and also with a sense of, you know, a strong sense of privacy, how did you deal with the topic of pleasure? You know, it's just something very private and intimate.
Yeah, first of all, I have to say that I'm from Veneto, so this part of the region. So it was funny for me for the first time, like speaking in dialect with them. And so creating a sort of common vocabulary, not only with the research world, but also with the personal, private life. So it was immediate, how to say, the possibility that they give me to be in the same level. So we didn't felt a difference between age, between experience. It was just a meeting point where every experience was going in, and we just find out exploring this intimate part, not really going into an intimate speech. So they were not giving me personal you know, feedback about their life, but it was more about their feeling and their sensation. So the pleasure for me is really linked to something that it's personal completely, and you cannot you have not to how to say, to give to the audience or to give to me the complete explanation of your pleasure, but it's just something that you can try out by yourself, and then so be able to transmit that kind of sensation to the audience. So that was the point, the plan where we, like the pleasure plan we spoke about. And then also for them, it was important to be aware of the pleasure of the movement, especially in this period of lockdown. So where we were like all together in the house without possibility to really enjoy life in the full, like 100% range. So this part of feeling that also by ourselves we can have pleasure, not only by, you know, personal pleasure, but also with our body, it was important for them and also for me.
For sure. And now that you mention this research for pleasure during the lockdown, you also worked with Zoom at the very beginning of the work. How was it, and how did it inform your practice, or maybe how did your language as well change?
Yeah, I have to say for this project we did a session of 3 moments, and both, like all the 3 moments were both live and I mean the first one not, but it was like something that was between Zoom and between live practice. And the Zoom practice was really difficult for me, but in the end I find out this simple way to transmit materials that was like really for me a scheme, or I collected images, I collected practice, I collected influences, I collected music, and then I give this little box to them, and I say to them, like, just read and explore whatever it happens to your body with this how to say, provocation I give you, or with this little needle I put there. And that I did also in the live practice, but obviously in the live practice it was like easier for all of us to find out a common language. Instead, in the Zoom practice it was really personal, so every one of them was in a personal research totally, and I was happy also for this, because for them it was really difficult to allow themselves to go towards a research by themselves. It's not a normal use practice that they do. So yeah, this was the path.
Yeah, and I also know that you gave them a lot of space, because you were not constantly there with them on Zoom, monitoring them, but you just opened the space.
Yeah, the important thing for me, it was really like to give them a box and they like a space, we had they had a practice that they could really look every time. So every time they want, they just open the video and they practice with a simple exercise. And then they had also like this material, this box, and they had from Opera Estate also a space every week to meet by themselves. So simply maybe to read something together or to express something together. And I have to say that during, for example, this week, that was the last moment we had, the important thing, it was not the class in the morning or not the practice in the morning, but the moment between the practice and the show, that we had like these 2 hours together just to speak about everything. Some people were thinking about their hobbies, that was poetry or singing or writing or drawing, and some other like about their life. So that was the meeting point for being together, and then exchanging the practice we did. It was magical. It was really precious.
Wow. I have one more question before moving to our audience, so make sure that you click on raise hand or to send us your questions, as I see you're already doing, but I know you have burning questions, so keep on asking. Now that you mentioned these moments all together as a community, and also these moments of sharing, and you also use the word magic. In the introduction, one of the participants talked about staying together and working on emotions as well. Do you feel that this practice, when moving on stage, let's say, became a sort of common ritual?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, because what I think about being together on a scene, on live, on Zoom or whatever, it's a sort of decision we make a decision to be kind of in a common space, so virtual or live or whatever. And when we do this, not to practice something, whatever it is, just maybe putting cream or whatever, it became a ritual. And the importance of this kind of rituals is that somehow, sometimes people doesn't allow themselves to go towards this deep state or towards this, freedom, or just like make free themselves and yeah, became another thing, wearing another dress, or allow themselves to put on the grass, or allow themselves to just hug people, whatever, even if it's not possible, but do stuff that normally they will not. So this for me, it's a real, it's a catharsis, no? It's something that changed completely your normal life, or your life, even if it's not normal. Because like here, I have to say, we have many people with many different life and with many different experiences, like so different and so no normal that yeah, it's, for me, it's a huge amount of energy that I have now to, go on with life.
Yeah, and it also allows you to explore a new definition of normal, I guess. But maybe we can leave it there, because I see that someone is joining us, someone from the audience. Hello.
Hi.
Welcome. Could you please tell us your name and where you're speaking from?
Yes, I'm Francesco and I'm a local audience member, so I'm speaking now from Bassano. And I was really impressed joining the performance by the sense of freedom, particularly in the last phase, in the last part of the dance, in which all the performers were running, but also in the part in which there was this dance, this circular dance. It was really great, also in the sense of the ritual, like you were talking. But I was curious to know something more from Sara about the relationship between the structure, the complex, the structure of all the piece, and also the freedom, yes, given to the performance, and also yes, the presence of improvisation somehow.
Yeah, I have to say one thing, first of all, that this is not a final piece, but is the first step because we were supposed to do a production together, a piece, but then because of the COVID, we create these practices that had like some spots on Zoom and live, and then a final part that was this week. And so I just put together like the exercise we did in these practices, and then yeah, of course, like this practice is something about yourself, like about a single in relationship with the group, with the world. And so the freedom of the improvisation is something that is not really freedom, actually, because it's really set in a way. They had like clear and complex tasks, or indication, I don't know how to say in a good way, because task I don't like so much. And then the last part is just the last part of the run is just a moment where they can, in a way, be free, but not alone. So they do all the practice with the perception or their own body. So my body is still mine, il mio corpo ancora mio. So I have this, I have skin, I have muscle, I have skeleton. I watch all the outside, and then in the last part is just like, okay, we are one thing together. So it's like I put myself with my energy, with my personal life, with my personal dresses, with my personal experience in a vortex, and this vortex, it's working just because we are all together. So this was a bit like the mood I give to them, but it's nice because actually, they are people with Parkinson, most of them. They are people with disease, like in the body, like they have problems. They cannot really walk, they cannot really go fast, they cannot really go straight, or different kind of possibility of the body. And asking them to run for 3 minutes, it was like okay, let's do it, whatever it happened. And for me, this was the most beautiful present they give me, because it's just like, okay, why we don't run? Yeah, let's run, you know, like a moment of, okay, this is me completely. So yeah, I cried today, so I have to say I am a bit emotional.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Thank you, Francesco. Thanks for joining us. We have a lot of questions, actually. We had another question about the improvisation, or whether it was given steps, so a given plan. And also, maybe if I read the question right, you can also tell us more about the, well, you don't want to use the word task, so let's say the indication, the different steps of this project, because they were related to parts of the body.
So initially, the research started to like in a perceptive way in the body. So like I started from the skin, then I go to the muscle, and then I go to the skeleton. And we did like 3 days practices for every part. I work, I give this indication about, you know, like how the perception can adapt our body, and how our body is composed, and it can be danced, because how we dance with this perception for every part. In particular, in this the little scheme I built for the performance, it's like just the skin in the beginning, then it's the skeleton, and then it's the muscle, and then everything together with the run. So this is the little structure I give, and it's a small practice where I give them this indication of being aware of the inside, of the outside, and of the audience, like a diamond, no? So this possibility to be aware of every part of the body, not just in the surface, but in every little detail. And yeah, this was the little structure I give them, and then it's free, it's up to them. They build a little choreography for the muscle part to going on the floor, but it was really just a little choreography that they could work alone by their own feeling. So that was.
Wow, and we have a couple of questions, and I think they will be the last ones. One is asking if you have, if you found, or if you could find new ways to work after the experience with the dancers of Dancewell. So if you feel that they already had an impact on you as an artist. And they of course ask us about the evolution of the project, so the future of it.
So I want to say one thing before that, this piece, so I built these things in 4 days, because I started on Monday and we premiered yesterday. So just to know to the people that this small structure, it was built in 4 days. Yeah, of course, I feel like I can go whatever, like with them, I can feel I can do whatever I want, more than with a professional team or, you know, with people that have a consciousness of the body, because it's, I don't want to say with normal dancer, it's something that you know where they will go, but yeah, sometimes yes, it's hard to be surprised. With them, it's like a surprise. It's an everyday surprise, and this is so nice. It's so important for a dancer as I am, or a maker, or a creator, or a choreographer, like to be surprised every time for me. And then yeah, the future, the future. In the future, I don't know. I had yeah, I had how to say, a thought about it. Okay. I wanted to explore with them some kind of hip hop organization.
Style, movement. Okay, okay. We'll just leave it there. You know, we won't tell a lot. Otherwise, our lovely viewers won't join us in Bassano next here, so if they know too much. And also because I think we almost ran out of time.
Okay, sorry.
No problem. It was so interesting. Thank you. We still have one comment from the audience where they say it's not a question, it's just a comment. I was very happy to see your work and I enjoyed your program. And I like the colorful costume. Thank you for sharing. So thank you. Thanks for this conversation, Sara. You've been so generous and both me and the dancers, and I think we can see it. Thank you, and thank you also for following this Q&A. I have a small announcement to make for our audience here. There's been a small change in the program. So the evening program of films won't be as at 9, as you can see appearing sometimes here on Zoom. So it won't be at 9 p.m., but it will follow the last performance of the day. So tune in at 5 for virtual studies for A Dark Swan 2020 by Nora Cipaumire, and the choreographer herself will be live with us, with the dramaturg Monica Gillette and the other choreographer Yasmin Godet, to talk about the work on Zoom, so the transmission of a piece on Zoom. So Sara, you can understand this very well, I guess. And then at 6:20, 20 past 6, let's say, the first of the creations for Dance on Films. The title is Please Watch After the Credits as well, by Jacquibis Thomason. And this dance artist will be live with us again from the US for a conversation with the dramaturg Monica Gillette. And then we will see Umbrella Dance for Hong Kong, part of the Asolo Art Film Festival selection, and one of the creations for Aerowaves Springback. I won't spoil it because I wait for you at 20 past 6, so be on time. Thank you, Sara, and thank you, everyone.
No.